What is going on? The Bills preseason return with a victory 16-15. Although it doesn't count, it counts in the heart of ours. But it counts for a lot of players that are going to be struggling to make this Bills football team, which is supposed to be very, very good this year. I got my guys EJ Daniels, Travis Blakesley in the house of me today. We are going to discuss it as soon as we come right back. Go Bills. All right, fellas. So the Bills squeaked out a win in the last seconds, if you want to call that, yesterday against the Detroit Lions. Although it didn't count, the heart and the blood still get going, right? It still gets pumping a little
Absolutely.
bit. Tyler Bass looked extremely comfortable. And Travis, you said something before the pre-show about him not kicking the ball with all his power this year. So we're going to talk about that later. EJ, you talked to me pre-show about F.A. Obata, who looked mighty good yesterday. And we're talking about that. We're gonna also possibly discuss the new designation for these the exempt players as far as international player list goes. And I got a question for you guys. Before we go too much further, the four practice squad spots that were saved last year because of obviously the protocols. Do we still are those four spots still protected this year in the practice squad? Do we know?
You got me.
I'm not sure. I was thinking about that last night, and I
Yeah.
think about Jake Fromm because I thought he played awful. So I figured maybe we could protect him on the practice squad. I just thought that. Let's say.
I
But
think
no,
it's the same.
you think it's the same? Okay, I'm not too sure. If anybody knows the answer to that, please definitely answer us in the chat. And thank all you guys for tuning in today. I'll take your afternoon to tune into the Cold Front Report. So, guys, the Bills, we squeaked through the line 16-15 yesterday. We had some ups, we had some downs. The running game, it seemed like the focal point by the coaching staff was definitely the running game yesterday. As Trubisky came out threw two passes, Davis Webb looked pretty well. Devin Singletary looked, as I like to call him, dynamic yesterday. Matt Breida looked, to me, ran kind of soft. But first things first, let's get into Motor Singletary. Ernest, I'm coming to you. This has been a topic since the Bills lost to the Chiefs. Running back one, Devin Singletary, Zach Moss. Should we bring somebody in? How much is Matt Breida playing? Did Devin Singletary answer any questions yesterday with his performance versus the Detroit Lions?
He most certainly answered questions. He let us know that he's ready to go. I mean, Zach Moss has been hurt pretty much the whole offseason. And we saw so many videos and things and such of Devin Singletary working out, taking off his shirt in the weight room. We saw him cut up, ready to go, and he proved it on the field of all the work that he's been putting in the offseason. So now he had a great game where he had forced 5 missed tackles, had 48 total yards with a touchdown, also had a 90 PFF grade. So he was just he came in ready to play, and he's putting a stranglehold on this running back one competition, and it's not going to be a competition after a while.
Trav.
Yeah, I mean, I'll start by saying I think a lot of Singletary's issues last year was the offensive line. But as I said in the pre-show, whatever this guy has done regarding his body, I know his trainer was saying that he shaved a couple tenths or hundredth of a second off of his 40 time. Whatever he did, I noticed it. He looked quick. He looked decisive. I know that McDermott always says they're going to go with a multi-back approach, but I think he will be leading it not only because his counterpart can't stay healthy, it seems, but I think he deserved it. He looked great.
I thought it was.
Yeah, I just wanted to say it's very encouraging to see that he's catching the ball well, because Jeremy, you always talk about that drop he had in the AFC Championship game, and he came out and had his one touchdown on a catch and run. So that was also encouraging to see, and hopefully he can get those nasty, ugly drops out of his system and come back and be that RB1 that we know him and want him to be at this point.
Well, I guess you can call me somewhat of a Devin Singletary truther. All right, I felt like this kid was dynamic coming out of his rookie season, and I thought he could be dynamic going into the sophomore campaign. Personally, I don't think anybody in that backfield could be dynamic with the poor run blocking that this offensive line provided in 2021. 2021. But I do feel like people overreact on the drops a little bit. This is a guy who barely caught any balls coming out of college. He looked very uncomfortable catching the ball his rookie season. And I was on record for saying last season he didn't look uncomfortable catching the football. He was running after. It almost like his rookie year, there was a point where he would catch the football and it would be like a little delay, making sure he has it, which didn't allow him to get a lot of yak. Where that kind of went away last year. Yes, we all remember the drop from Kansas City. I get it. That's fine. But you can't judge people off one play. Stephon Diggs had drops last season. Cole Beasley almost led the league in drops the year before, and we know Dawson Knox had drops before, so it happens. But I think that Devin Singletary is going to answer a lot of questions this preseason, is if he can be the number one guy in the backfield, or if he's even serviceable, because I think some people say that he's not serviceable, which I think is absolutely asinine. This is a guy who's averaged, what he averaged 5.2 yards to carry against Detroit yesterday. He had 8 carries for 42 yards for 5.2 yards a carry. He looked decisive. He looked like, and he was making all the right decisions, choosing holes. And yes, he definitely looked quicker. You got, like you said, you said it before, EJ. You saw the regiment this offseason. He looks different. He looks totally different. His body is totally different. That's a sign that someone put the work in.
He's really good at those, and this is coming out of college too. He's really good at those areas that's transferable. He makes people miss, and the fact that, like you said, the fact that he's quicker and now making people miss on top of that, it just screams to me that, hey, I'm gonna put a stranglehold on this job. I mean, you can't really tell me that there was a running back, maybe besides Antonio Williams, that came in and I was like, hey, I want to be RB1 too, because honestly, I would like to see Antonio Williams get more reps at this point too, because he looks better than Breida did last night. But I mean, Singletary, he's right there, man. He's never been a sorry bag. He's never been non-serviceable. I don't know, like you said, I don't know where this stuff is coming from. You can't be a good running back if your line doesn't block, and it's just as simple as that. You can make only so many people miss, but when you got people at the line trying to get you, and then you got linebackers coming down the hill of the field, I mean, not even Barry Sanders can get past that too. So I mean, just be reasonable with your expectations.
But you got Trav.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the stats, I know Singletary ran behind a better offensive line than Breida and Williams, but Breida averaged 2.7 yards a carry on 10 carries. Antonio Williams, seven carries for 2.1 yards, and he had that fumble. So it's pretty clear. I mean, I wish we could have seen what Zach Moss had to offer. But, as just like you guys said, I think the hate that Singletary received was just people looking at numbers and not really understanding that if you're getting hit in the backfield, that's probably not the running back's fault.
No, I mean, it's never the running back's fault. And that's why I don't understand people like, he's not hitting the holes, he's not picking the right holes. Listen, I'm sorry when he finally does get a hole if he doesn't pick the right hole because he's not confident that there's going to be a hole there. I'm sorry. Things in life work in succession, and those is one of those things. You're going to pick the right hole continually if you actually believe the hole's going to be there. Last night, he believed the hole's going to be there. He picked them correctly. And, you just said something, Travis, that caught my attention. You said that he didn't run behind the same offensive line as Breida, and Breida averaged 2.7 yards to carry, which partially true there. But there was one point during the game, and I don't know if you guys caught this. They took Breida out, and they put Singletary back in. And he ran, I think he had like a big gainer, like maybe something like 8 or 10 yard carry he had.
Yeah.
And I noticed that for the reason of, I think they were testing to see, hey, is this Breida or is this the offensive line right now? Let's put Devin back in. He's like, hey, let's just see what happens. It was like, I think it was like in the mid-second quarter. And I'm like, wow, Singletary's back in the game. I think that was a sign that they were testing it out. So once again, even behind the offensive line Breida ran, he looked good. I want to hop over to Matt Breida a little bit here, because this is a guy that I like him coming to Buffalo. I think most of you guys liked him coming to Buffalo. We don't really know what his role is going to be, what he can bring, if he's going to bring anything, if he even be here. But we like the fact that they brought in a guy with his speed. Well, he runs really soft. It was wrap-up tackles galore. What you got on Matt Breida's wrap?
Yeah, I mean, you summed it up there. He didn't. He was quicker, I believe, than the other two backs, but it wasn't this ungodly, speed that we've never seen before. Very, very much east-west. You see him trying to get to the corner a lot, and when he did run inside, I mean, guys just wrapping up around his waist and not really moving the pile at all, falling backwards instead of falling forwards. I like the idea of having a speed guy at running back, because that's something we haven't had since, I don't know, Spiller. But really, to me, this is a 2 running back show. I don't really necessarily, maybe he makes a team, but even if he makes a team, I don't foresee the third running back getting any more playing time than TJ Yeldon did. So to me, it's kind of a moot point. If he makes a squad, I don't really even see him playing that often.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same thing with me. Like, I'm not really. I mean, I was cool with the move when they brought him here. Obviously, a lot of people have been clamoring for more speed in the backfield, but I'd rather just have a runner that's effective. Breida played in a Kyle Shanahan system where he was very effective, and then he played in Miami. But I mean, other than the speed, he's not really a misforced tackle guy. He doesn't run like Antonio Williams does. Antonio Williams actually ran really hard. I'm gonna keep pounding the table for Antonio Williams to be this third running back. I want Antonio Williams to grab that job. Like, Matt Breida's cool. Like, the speed is fine, but I want an effective runner. And if he's not utilizing his speed, like, what is he doing for you? And even if he does make the team, just ask yourself, with Devin Singletary looking the way he does, with Zach Moss being drafted so highly and also showing promise, he was like the starter at the end of last year. Like, how many realistic snaps and carries and touches is left for Matt Breida? Like, how much touches is he going to get? And to answer that question, I don't think there's going to be many for him. So I don't even see him having an impact if he does make this team. So I'd rather have Antonio Williams, a guy that's been around and that runs way harder than he does.
And you bring up a good point about the snap count and how many snaps is that guy really going to get. When you really think about that, and as far as the snaps, the last couple of years, the third running back spot under Sean McDermott has pretty much been used as nothing but a special teamer, where it was Sonoris Perry wearing OJ's number, which he shouldn't have been. Still disagree with that. I'm going to comment on that every time I talk about it. Or who was the third? I'm just saying, third back last year was what, Tyron Jones? Was that technically our third back last year?
Well, yes.
Or TJ Yeldon, right?
TJ Yeldon, but he didn't start, or he wasn't brought up.
He was inactive all the time. So, okay. I mean, there's really have been very few times in the Sean McDermott era where we've actually had 3 actual running backs active without the third guy just being pretty much nothing more than a special teams contributor. I think this may be the season that, we need to kind of get away from that. And I'm praying that Antonio Williams can contribute on special teams, therefore he can stay on this roster, because if you can't, it's not going to happen. Let's be honest with you. They're going to, like you said, they're going to go with Singletary and Moss, and your third guy is going to be a special teamer. And I don't know how much Breida can contribute on special teams either, personally. He looked soft to me last night, and I don't want to call him soft, but that he like a soft runner. It was hit the line. As soon as somebody put their hands on him, he went down. And this is the guy who had starting success in the NFL, and you're getting wrapped up in arm tackles by guys who probably won't be playing in 4 weeks in the NFL. It's kind of concerning to me. I don't know.
And then on
Yeah, I mean,
to
I think
pick.
a lot of
Oh,
his.
no,
Sorry,
go ahead,
a
Trav. No,
lot of
Trav, go ahead. Go ahead.
a lot of a lot of his success in San Francisco was manufactured, and I think
Yep.
his play in Miami really solidified that because somebody who has success and he averaged over 5 yards a carry in San Francisco to be the third string running back and to hardly touch the field, it says something. And I think Jeremy, you hit the nail on the head. He didn't show anything that somebody worth keeping on the roster, or at least gathering up the limited snaps that there are for running backs. I don't think he showed that he deserves it.
Right.
So
I'm sorry.
I just had a quick question for both of you guys. So
Mm-hmm.
my question is, for us to get a good gauge of Matt Breida, do you think he should get some of those first team reps with the first O-line to see what he can really do, or you just really doesn't think it matters? I personally don't think it really matters, but you never know it. Like, this is the double-edged sword of preseason. Like, it's preseason, so what kind of stock are we putting into it? But again, I can use the same thing. Well, it's preseason, and he's not getting off. We got the Steelers week 1, so if you can't even do it against practice team guys, like you said, Jeremy, that's not even going to be playing in 4 weeks, what you think you're going to be doing with arguably one of the best defenses in the league week 1? So, I mean, do you think he should be playing around behind the first O-line to see what he can actually do?
If you start seeing there's a distinct difference in game 2, yeah, maybe the third game you're going to have to do that to, in my opinion, to see what he has. But at this point in Matt Breida's career, are we still scouting Matt Breida? I guess is the rebuttal to that. We kind of know what he has. We know what he can do at this point. There's nothing really to scout besides, if the offensive line was bad that he's running about, he can't do anything. But like I said, Devin Singletary came back into the game last night and ran behind that same offensive line and was way more successful again. So I don't know, Trav.
Yeah, I don't think it matters really, because if you're going against guys who are not going to be in the NFL in 2, 3, 4 weeks from now, his what makes him good he should be able to win, with speed. You're not going to be able to win with speed against NFL caliber players, but if you're going against scrubs, you should be able to use that regardless of who's blocking in front of you. So, like you said, I think we're past the point of scouting Matt Breida, who's a veteran in this league. I think we know what we got with him. And it's a numbers game. It really comes down to the other positions, in my opinion. Are we keeping that extra wide receiver? Are we keeping that extra offensive lineman, tight end, what have you?
All right. Speaking about good performances, and before we go to good performances, if you guys are watching the show, please do us a favor, whether it's YouTube, Twitter, or Facebook. I don't know if you can do it on Twitter, but give us a thumbs up, like us, subscribe, and share the show if you can. Because in the future, we're going to be having some goodies, and I'll get to that later in the show. We partnered with somebody. We have some good giveaways, and nice giveaways at that. And guys, please do not forget, inside the comments or the description of this show is a link to Mafia Ticket League. So on September 10th, we will be having the second annual Mafia Homecoming Party. It's going to be 5 hours of free food. Yes, I said free. Open bar. Yes, that's free drinks. Open bar. Raffles, door prizes. Be a lot of vendors from the Buffalo area there, slinging all type of goodies. We have not announced the special guest host yet, but we will be this week. Everything's signed. Its document is ready to go. It's a former alumni. Can't tell you who it is yet, but we will. Make sure you don't miss this. Last year we had Stevie Johnson, Marcus Easley, Donald Jones, Ron Brooks all show up and have a good time. This year we're expecting the same. It'd be technically the first Bills Mafia party, or not Bills. I want to use my Bills because that's copyright. But with the first Mafia party since the pandemic. So make sure you get out, get your tickets. It's going to be $55 tickets, but there's promo codes everywhere. Just look around Twitter. You find a promo code to get you a little bit off. And we are doing a group discount price, discount price for a group. So make sure you go check that out. But moving on, Greg Rousseau, guys. Great performance. Surprised a lot of people, I think, including myself. Project? Are we still going to call? He may not be a project going this year. That word may have been tossed around too much. EJ, I'm coming to you first. Greg Rousseau.
Yeah, he had a great rep against Penei Sewell that's all over Twitter right now. I was very surprised. Well, actually, I wasn't surprised because they have been saying since he opted out of Miami that he's been working on his pass rush moves all off season with Chuck Smith, and he has been working with Bruce Smith also on his pass rush moves. So I'm not surprised that he came out against Penei Sewell, who has not been tested. That was not coming out on him that he hadn't been tested by anybody during his college career. You know, Penei Sewell opted out last year too. So he went up against Penei Sewell, won that rep with his long arms, created some separation, got his other long arm around, and almost sacked the quarterback. Some people are giving it to Harrison Phillips, but I could give a full sack to Rousseau. But he showed what he can do. He showed that if he had more coaching, and then if he's getting more season during the season, that he could be, you know, that impact rookie that I had spoke about in my article last week. Now, I was expecting a little bit more from Boogie Basham, but it was great to see Gregory Rousseau, you know, come out in a debut, his first ever NFL game, and get a sack. If there's a way to start, that's it.
Jeez, his arms are long. Extremely long.
Yeah.
Draft.
Yeah, I mean, what a way to start your NFL career. Your first series, 3 and out, finish it off with a sack. You know, regardless of who they credit it to, him and who was on the other side of him? Was it Epinesa? The other,
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, they directly affected Goff's decision to step up into the pocket, and there was no space. So I don't think he's a project. I think the Bills staff knew that with the work he put in during his time off and what Eric Washington and co could do for him during the preseason, I think they expect this guy to get a significant amount of snaps, affect the passer, and the one thing that looked great was his inside move. Especially, there was a couple snaps where he didn't get a sack, but his inside move is developed, and it's good to see him to be able to work on the outside moves and affect the quarterback. So to answer your question, he's not a project player. They're going to expect him to play significant snaps this year.
No, you know what? I am kind of surprised. I'm not surprised. I've been saying the whole time, you can't teach 6'6", 270, 75 pounds with extremely long arms. I mean, his wingspan is to what, like 8, 9 feet, something like that? Crazy, right? It's ridiculous. You can't teach that. You can teach somebody to play football, but you can't teach size. And ultimately, size normally wins out in the game of football. It always has. It probably always will, just about. Very rare occasions it doesn't. Gregory Rousseau is an athletic freak. He's coming into Buffalo. He has the right tutelage. As you said earlier, EJ, he trained with Chuck Smith for a year to work on his weaknesses. It's not far-fetched to believe that partway during this season, Greg Rousseau is starting for the Buffalo Bills. It's not far-fetched at all if Epinesa doesn't take that step. Somebody's going to take it. It's going to be Rousseau, it's going to be Basham, or it's going to be Epinesa. One of those three will be starting opposite of what I believe is Mario Addison, because I'm going to continue with the point that I do not think Jerry Hughes is going to be on this roster. And it's nothing against, once again, it's nothing against Jerry. It's just the fact that if one of these kids or two of these kids take that step forward before we get to week 1, he won't be here. It's my personal opinion. I don't know. You said something about Basham and that you wanted to see a little bit more out of him. Do you think that the comparison that Basham is NFL ready and Rousseau is not NFL ready may be incorrect?
I think it's too early to call that. I mean, and using that double-edged sword, I mean, again, it's preseason, and he went up against another rookie. It wasn't like he was going up against Taylor Decker or another one, or even Vitae, at tackle either. He was going up against another rookie, But I mean, I don't want to sit here and poo-poo on him, but it's tough. It's too tough. I can't give him that right. Give him that away right now. I gotta wait. I gotta see a little bit more. I'm just gonna sit here and reserve myself and say it was a nice sack. He made some plays, but I need to see more. I can't. He need to go up against a better left tackle for me to even start to gauge that. But I wouldn't say he's pro ready, but that move he did, get that long arm, that was definitely a pro ready move. I'll say that much though.
Yeah, try.
Yeah, I mean, I think the whole Basham being more ready, pro ready, it really boils down to he played more in college. He's older. I don't think there's really much substance to it. It's just kind of a conclusion a lot of people ended up on, where one guy has 1 year of production and is young, and took a year off, and then the other guy has solid production for many years and is older. I like that we got to see him down inside. I did see him on the outside use his spin move to where it worked once, and then he tried to go back to it, and he got really stonewalled. So, I think he'll be fine. I never his traits don't jump off of they don't leap out at you the way Rousseau's does. So I think he is what he is. He's going to be a solid rotational player. He gives that position flexibility where you're going to see him inside a lot, the way we saw Quentin Jefferson last year. So again, I think it was a pretty standard game for a second round pick in his first NFL preseason game.
What if he is that 15.5 sack guy? What if he is that guy that we saw in college? A lot of people negated and said, "Hey, that's because of Jalen Phillips, or that's because of the scheme, or this is coverage sacks." What if he is that 15.5 sack guy, and the Bills were able to wait and get what could be possibly turned to a premier pass rusher at the pick they got him at? Was that the 31 they got him at? I'm sorry, 30.
30. Yep.
30. What if he is?
Are you saying what if he is at this moment, or are you saying
No.
Is he going to be that?
What if he is that guy? That's what he's going to be, and you got him at pick 30.
I mean, then that's a game changer right there. Then they got three guys who essentially can also be other game changing, defensive ends or even defensive tackles, because they have all three of them have positional versatility, and getting him at pick 30, Bills Mafia was not happy when they drafted Gregory Rousseau initially. And I even myself was saying, hey, I think this is incomplete. But as we all have said, Rousseau has been, working on his moves with Chuck Smith, with Bruce Smith, with other guys, and now what I like to see encouraging, and this is the same thing I had seen with Ed Oliver, you're actually using these moves during games. You're using these moves, you're honing on them, and you're doing them against different competition than the ones that you go up against every day, and they're working, and you're figuring out what does and does not work. And that's what I like for Rousseau. He's figuring out what does and does not work. And like I said, if he can master that long arm move that he did to get that sack, I don't think there is going to be a left tackle or a right tackle who can stop that move, due to the fact, like you said, his wingspan is like 8 or 9 inches. There's no way you can stop that. And then try to get his off arm to not get over a quarterback. There's no way you're going to be able to stop that. So he could be, definitely, we see the traits. We see he could be that premier passer. He has all the traits and he's doing all the right things. So the arrow is pointing up on Gregory Rousseau.
And if you guys actually want to know what his wingspan really is, 83 inches.
Yep, there you go.
That is his wingspan. That's ridiculous. I mean, that's, I would never fight a guy with 83 inches. I'm just not gonna bother, man. Trav, I mean, you were talking about Harrison Phillips earlier this week, and I believe in our group chat, you were saying things like, Harrison needed to come out and step up pretty early. He got the start last night. Do you think he looked to me all the way back healthy? Did you see that from Harrison last night?
So I was saying to EJ in the pregame, he did make plays, but he got bullied on a couple. There were some plays where he got blown off the ball, pushed back, and pancaked. And I feel real bad because he's the kind of guy that everyone roots for. He was nominated for the Walter Payton Man of the Year. He's always in the community. He's always at these events. He stayed in the off season. He works hard. So you're really pulling for him. I was hoping to see more consistency because I feel like that's always been his issue. We've seen him flash. We've seen him play well, but it's kind of weird because on the depth chart, they had him way down, I think is like the third one tech, and yet he comes out and starts. So who knows how much stock to put into that, but I really think they're evaluating to see if this kid is going to stay on the roster or not. I think he leaves a lot to be desired after this preseason game. But that being said, there were some splash plays that I like to see. Like you guys were mentioning during the Rousseau sack, he was right up in there. He was pushing the pocket, which is what you want to see your defensive tackle do on a pass play. So it's to be determined. Good thing we got 2 more games.
We had a question too, and that's our next topic. Why? And his name is Y on YouTube. So hey, why not? How is FA in quotations Ngannou? Call it FA Abato or Ngannou, UFC fighter.
I like that.
That's fair. Hey, if he gets some sacks, we'll dub it. Dub it. Let's go with it.
Absolutely.
What do you think about F.A. Abato? Because I know this is a guy that we haven't talked about much. Obviously, once again, another guy with a lot of size, a lot of desirable traits as a football player, but we didn't know what skill level we're getting in Carolina. EJ?
Yeah, he definitely, again, another trace guy, like you said. Measurables off the charts, stupid athletic. He made a bunch of plays yesterday. It sucks that they called back his one pressure that he got when they called a hit below the waist and they got an interception off that. But F.A. Abada last year had a career year in terms of sacks. You know, people don't know that, because he's not a household name, but he actually is, for a guy who never played football, he seems to be a pretty good pass rusher. And coming to the Bills, he's actually getting an opportunity to show what he's doing. And he showed in that first preseason game that he can definitely, worst comes to worst, the very floor for him is becoming a rotational defensive end that can come in and wreak havoc off the edge. We're not sitting here saying that he's going to be a 10, 15 sack guy like Rousseau, but if you can come in, consistently create pressure, that's very valuable, especially on a team like the Bills that have a lot of good players at a lot of positions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm an FA Abada stan. I ever since we signed him, I was really excited. Even after drafting 2 defensive ends in the draft, I still thought he was going to make the team. And after what we've seen and heard from him in practice, and just the explosiveness in every rep that we saw last night, I think, like you said, he's a traits guy. He's going to stick around. He's going to be a great rotational player. He can play the run, and he can definitely get after the passer. The penalty was tough because although I'm sure he could have pulled up a little bit, he did get kind of blocked into it. That's neither here nor there. Hopefully it doesn't cost us 15 yards in the regular season. But, yeah, I've been on FA's train for a long time, and it's great to see a guy like him. I mean, I think he was a part of like child trafficking, and he's adopted. He's just got this great story. So yeah, big fan.
Yeah, every camp report you read, he's always on it. FAU about it, making plays in practice. Every single one from every beat writer, they always have his name on there, and you saw that culminating in last night.
No, I agree. That's true. And you know what the thing is? Obata 7 sacks would have led the Bills last year.
Yeah.
Just put that into perspective when we're talking about depth chart and people making this roster and who's starting and who's not. That competition with that stat right there has to be wide open.
Man, listen, you making a point for Jerry to really not be on the roster, and I'm only saying that. No, I'm only saying that because that was a heck of a point to bring up, though. He didn't even start. Brian Burns was the best pass rusher on the Carolina last year. That's crazy, man.
No, it's the truth. I mean, so when we really talk about this competition, and some people are not taking this defensive line logically. They don't think it's a competition. You bet your ass this is a competition throughout the entire D-line. The only 2 spots that are guaranteed going in week 1 at this point, in my opinion, is Starla Tulele and Ed Oliver. Those are the only 2. Those other 2 spots on the edges, those are not guaranteed, and neither are the backup spots. And when you see Daryl Johnson out there showing that sense of urgency that he showed last night, putting pressure on the quarterback, getting a sack, making plays, bringing a special teams prowess, yeah. Everybody's on the chopping block except those 3 rookies that they drafted. And I say 3 because I'm calling Epinesa. I'm putting him as a rookie from last year because he didn't have the offseason. But yeah, those 3 guys, outside those 3, everybody's on the chopping block, including Hughes and Addison. As much as I love Addison being that mentor for these young guys, he's on the chopping block too.
So to your point, do you think we see significant snaps from Jerry Hughes this preseason?
We don't even know if Jerry Hughes is even healthy.
It's a fact, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We don't even know where Jerry Hughes is with his health. And a lot of people are gonna say, and I've seen this around posts all around Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever. Oh, he's a veteran. He's just resting. Well, LaShawn McCoy thought that same thing 2 years ago.
Exactly.
He's just they're just keeping Shady ready to go for the regular season. Ain't no reason for him to play. That every rep as a veteran that you do not take is a rep for somebody younger or maybe that you did not notice to look good. Always by eyes open. Only person, it's like one person, two, maybe 3 or 4. I'm gonna say Hyde, Poyer, White, Allen, Dawkins, Williams, and Morse. Edmonds and Milano. Those are your guys that they don't have to take a rep this entire preseason. Their job is
and Diggs.
And Diggs too. Don't forget Diggs.
I'm sorry, Diggs, Beasley, and Sanders.
Beasley, yeah.
And Davis, technically. So the rest of these guys, everybody else is on the line. Everybody else is on the line. And while we're on the topic, so we cut the games down from 4 preseason games to 3 preseason games now. And now teams are choosing not to play their starters at all. Mm-hmm. How do we feel about this? I totally disagree with this. I'm okay with the Bills not playing Allen and a couple guys last night, but some teams are saying they're not playing their starters at all the entire preseason almost. Travis, I'm coming to you first.
Yeah, I'm pretty much on the same page as you. I don't think it's the smart. I mean, listen, we had a player get injured falling on a mat. Okay, so like the injury rate in the NFL is 100%. I completely agree to limit guys like Allen and Diggs throughout the preseason, but you can't just not play them. They need a tune-up game, and not to mention, everyone talks about having only 3 preseason games, but you know what that adds is an extra week of not playing against other players in between the preseason and the regular season, and people talk about the hangover between, resting your guys in week 17 or getting that first round bye. I mean, I want these guys ready to go September against the Steelers, which in my opinion, as good as we've seen Allen play, I want to see him against the other teams. Whether it's a drive or 2, march down, score a touchdown, do it again, and then maybe call it. It's very intriguing how they're going to handle the second and third preseason games. Is the third game still going to be the tune-up game, or is the third game just going to default into that fourth game where the scrubs play? But I'm with you. They got to play. They have to.
I'm right with both you guys. I definitely need to see at least a series or a quarter, something. Give me something to let me know that you're ready to go. I know these are professionals. I know these guys are supposed to, and there's an expectation that these guys are supposed to stay ready, but I need to see you game action, like you said, Travis, against other live bodies that you don't see every day. Just show me like, hey, I'm ready to go. I'm ready for, the regular, especially at quarterback, especially at wide receiver, where it's a lot about rhythm and timing. But I also understand it from coaches' perspectives, with the 100% success rate of getting injured in this league. It's like if your quarterback go down off some stupid left tackle, let's say Bobby Hart has to play and Josh Allen is in there, man. Listen, I'll be holding my breath. I know y'all saw Bobby Hart in there last night. And so when you look at it like that, it's just like, nah, I ain't taking that chance, bro. I ain't taking.
Yeah, I just want to alter my take. If Bobby Hart is the left tackle, Josh Allen should not play.
Yeah, if Brandon Beane let Sean McDermott put Josh Allen out there with Bobby Hart, I might stop covering the Bills. I might start watching Bills games. I might call for Sean McDermott to get fired if he do that. For real, man. Listen, but I'm just saying, for the coach's perspective, I understand they don't want to take any risks. Doing the fact that some of these positions that there's high priced guys, they're very, very important and very, very valuable positions. But I would like to see a series, a quarter. Just show me you're ready. And then on top of that, to Travis's point, there's 2 weeks in between the third preseason game and the start of the season. So I mean, you got all that time to rest also. So give me a series.
Well, I guess first of all, Bobby Hart, there should be no situation where any quarterback should play behind Bobby Hart if he doesn't have having a red jersey on, signifying that he cannot be hit.
Yeah.
At this point, I wouldn't even call Bobby Hart a camp body.
I was just about to say, y'all was saying he was a camp body. I'm like, man, I don't even think he a camp body. Like, you could have found somebody else. Right. You just could have found somebody else on a roster. You could have drafted a rookie, another rookie tackle that would play better than Bobby Hart played last night. I don't care.
Bobby, at this point, Bobby's just a guy.
Pretty much, man.
Bobby's getting cut this week to get down to 85. I hope.
Yeah. Bobby should be 1 of the 5. Bobby's bad. Bobby's
bad. What's beyond bad? I don't know. What's the level of beyond bad?
I don't know if he can cook, if he can dance, or if he got some other ventures. But Bobby should start looking into. Bobby's bad. So I mean, no situation should Josh Allen ever be put behind Bobby Hart or therefore any other quarterback. Jake Fromm, who I don't think looked particularly well, should be put behind Bobby Hart. So, Bobby, best of luck to you. I know you're an FSU alum, and I'm go Seminoles. Rest in peace, Bobby Boughton. But Bobby, you're bad. You're bad.
Yeah, you gotta tell her how it is, man.
It is what it is. I'm sorry. Yeah. One of the biggest thing is, when I see a team like the Chargers saying we're resting all our starters on preseason, you didn't even make the playoffs. You got a brand new coach.
You got a new coaching staff.
Yeah. You got a quarterback who hasn't even started 16 games in the league yet. You're telling me you're sitting your starters all season. Well, at that moment in time, I took the Chargers on my list. Okay, well, we ain't got to worry about seeing them in the playoffs. Scratch them right off the list. Right off the list. Certain teams I get it. Buffalo, Kansas City, maybe Baltimore, and I'm just going through the AFC here. But anybody else? Oh no. You need to be playing. You need to be playing that now. And maybe we talk about a series. If you didn't make the playoffs last year, you need to be giving your starters 2 series. If teams that made the playoffs are giving their starters a quarter, you need to give your starters 2 quarters.
That's fair. That's a fair take. That's fair, bro. Yeah.
I'm just like, man, y'all taking this too far, man.
Everyone mentions, we see in the comments they say, no preseason last year, and it worked. I'm like, but nobody had off season. Nobody had preseason last year. So it's a completely different scenario. I mean, if you choose to go that route, you're putting yourself behind the 8 ball automatically. There's work to be done. Like you said, these teams that don't have anything to show for last year, and, that includes anyone who didn't win the Super Bowl. There's work to be done. There's things that can be improved, and you're directly putting yourself in a worse position to get yourself ready for the season. Now I get it. Developing players, seeing who's going to make that bottom end of the roster. To me, that's what the preseason's all about. But these guys have to play. And EJ, you kept mentioning, you want to see. I'm telling you, Josh Allen wants this. He wants to play because he needs to make sure he's ready, not just for us, but for himself.
No, I agree. Right now, while you guys are talking, I'm actually just looking up to see how many years you have to play to get a full NFL pension, because I want to see if Bobby is there yet.
Bro,
I say it's 4 years, but I don't know.
Yo, I hate to be banging on players like that, bro. But the way he was just so awful last night, and we said that we had a show about. I think I was the one who was like, listen, I don't want to see a situation where Bobby Hart even has to sniff the field. Yeah. And I was like, oh, it's okay. It's a camp body. It's just like, nah, bro. Like, I don't even want him as a camp body. And like, he was getting, like, you can lose as a left tackle or right tackle, but when you getting tossed around and falling on the floor, like, that's not a good look, bro. Especially for a guy that's in the NFL and that's a professional. Like, we expect more out of you. We don't expect you to be getting thrown around. These are also good guys on the other side also. But I mean, you're good too. And that guy who just had that question and that comment, I want to know how he lasted so many years in here too. I want to know who out of the Bills brain trust thought that was a good idea to sign him. Like, I really do.
It looked like a charity event where it's like, he got to play one game for the Buffalo Bills.
like this might be the worst move of the Brandon Beane era. No, honestly, it might be the worst move ever.
Up there. It's up there. Era.
Yeah, we'll see if he'll give couple this move up.
Russell Bodine.
Yeah. But hey, guys, before we get too far, the last topic we're going to touch on is Jake Fromm and will he make this roster. But before we go too much further, we partnered up with BuffaloAutographs.com, and they're going to be sending us some nice gear to give away here. And we're not going to give it away yet. We're going to wait closer to the season because we want it where everybody's involved in watching and ready to go. But right here, just give you guys an example of what we're going to be giving away and things we'll be having on the live shows. You're going to have to watch the live shows to get it. So tune in. Right here, we got a Kyle Williams signed jersey. As you can see, you got the JSA with it. We'll be giving that away in the near future. We got Hall of Famer James Lofton's signed jersey. As you can see, once again, another JSA approved copy. And we also have this pretty damn cool Gabe Davis Bills military style helmet signed by Gabe. So we'll be giving that away too. But like I said, it's going to be in the near future. We'll keep mentioning it. But you guys are going to have to watch the live shows to win, because I'm going to be giving away the winners on air. Who knows? Maybe we'll take calls to do some type of trivia on air and give it away. Who knows? We'll see. See what happens with that. But before we leave, I want to talk about Jake Fromm and get you guys' take on him. If you guys think he'll make this roster, did you like what you see from Fromm? And are we still good with Allstate?
I'll start. Jake, it was good to see him play. It's good to see him. He exists. I wasn't sure if he actually existed. But I don't think he had great pocket awareness. He held on to the ball a bit too long. The pass to Stevenson was nice. But I'm not quite sure if we're going to be I don't think he's going to make the active roster, and I don't foresee him making the practice squad either, because I believe that Webb will end up being the third guy, and they're going to stash him on the practice squad.
EJ,
I don't know, man. It might be a competition at this point. I can't just disregard what I saw last night. Davis Webb had a touchdown last night to Devin Singletary, but Jake Fromm had a fourth quarter comeback in the heat and in the midst of adversity. Now I will say this now, Marquez Stevenson ran a heck of a route, and it made that throw very, very easy. No throw is easy, but he made the throw easier. Let me say that. After Jake Fromm missed the throw the play before. He came back and made that throw. So that showed me some heart, showed me some accuracy, showed me that he can complete passes. I'm not going to sit here and just say like Davis Webb is going to sit here and just take that third quarterback job. But Jake Fromm has definitely put his hat his name in the hat, though. Like, he's going to be there. So I want to see more preseason games, but I'm not just ready to give it away just to Davis Webb quite yet.
Okay, so there's two factors here. First factor being how many quarterbacks do the Bills actually carry in this roster. Second factor is it probably should be two. Yeah. Second factor is, do you actually think, and I'm actually watching, and I want to give credit to the Hump Day Hotline, watching them earlier this week with last week Jay Spence and Joe Miller, where they were talking about Jake Fromm and actually being able to run the Bills offense if needed be. I don't think he looked good last night. As we said before the show, I thought he like a COVID rookie. I didn't like the decision making. I didn't like the accuracy. And for someone who does not have a strong arm, you better be accurate. He looked like honestly a career Matt Barkley, who we just let go in favor of Davis Webb. We didn't even bring him to camp. Wasn't fond of what Jake Fromm did. Was not fond of him as a player. I just don't think that he'll be able to lead the Bills' offense. I think if we had to ever play Jake Fromm, we would have to completely change our game plan, which is what you don't want to have to do with your backup quarterback, which is why we overpaid for Mitch Trubisky, because God forbid Josh Allen goes down and we had to bring Matt Barkley in last year. We saw he couldn't run the same offense. So it's nothing against Jake. I think he does have a place in the NFL. I just don't think it'll be in this pass-happy offense where we're slinging the ball 40 times a game with the unsure running game at times.
That's fair. I mean, that's a fair take. Yeah.
Did anyone know Webb had wheels? I this is news to me, man. He was running pretty well.
He was well rested. He ain't played in like 4 years.
His first. He's taken preseason snaps, right? Just not regular season snaps.
No, he's never taken one regular season snap.
Yep, they said that. Yeah. Yep, he had never. Yep.
Yeah.
Third round pick, never taken one regular season snap. So maybe it's still there. I don't know. I mean, they say he brings a lot of game preparation too, as far as mental aspect to the game.
So he's a player coach. That's what it sounds like, right?
Who can play actually.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he looked like he knew what he was doing.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think that Davis Webb is playing because we know Mr. Trubisky is a 1 year rental if he even makes it to 1 year. There could be a team like the Jets who should be calling for any veteran quarterback right now because Zach Wilson looks horrible and he's going to be bad and he's going to be Sam Darnold 2.0. He actually may be worse than Sam Darnold. So good luck to them. But somebody should be calling offering a second round.
Well, I won't go that far, man. They got a better coaching staff in
I didn't say anything about the coaching staff. I said him.
No, that's why he won't be as bad as you're saying that he's going to be
bad.
Nah, he ain't going to be that bad.
He's going to be bad.
I'm not the biggest Zach Wilson fan either, but I have more faith in the coaching staff than I do him. That's why. And coaching matters in the league, obviously.
Him dealing with the New York media is a disaster waiting to happen.
His mom's all over social media, Instagram, making her followers up. This dude can't hit 13 to 25 in practice. And unfortunately, their quarterback coach has died in a bike accident. He's going to be bad. They better call for Dick Foles. Just saying. Write that down, Jets fans. I said it. It's August 14th in 2021. I'm telling you, Zach Wilson will be bad. You're wasting your time.
And not to mention, he didn't sign until after training camp started.
Right. So maybe
all that could go wrong has gone wrong.
Maybe the Jets.
I mean, my man had to get his money. His money had to be right. I mean, you would have held out too if your money wasn't right.
I thought we were done with holding.
Listen, I'm not.
If your money wasn't right, you would have held out too.
I go to work every day and my money ain't right.
Oh man,
but no, guys. I mean, final thoughts. Upward risers. Give me your top two risers for me. Give me your top two falls, if you want to call it that. EJ, I'll start with you.
Top two risers. Now, this may be crazy coming from me, but man, listen, Levi Wallace put a stranglehold on that cornerback 2 spot. Y'all know, if y'all been following me, y'all know I've been hating on Levi all summer, but I give credit where credit is due, regardless to what y'all think. And Levi played good. and Levi played really well yesterday, and he been playing really well in camp. All the camp reports have said that he is undoubtedly the cornerback 2. Y'all know I was hoping for Dane Jackson to come up and take it, and he ain't taking that opportunity. So kudos, Levi, for keeping your spot and playing well on top of that. So hopefully he can take another step and be solid at cornerback 2. And then my second one is Marquez Stevenson. He played really well last night, running great routes. Go back and watch that last route. That's some advanced level route running from a rookie, and not just only any rookie, a rookie from Houston. But see, that's the benefit of playing with Diggs and playing with Sanders and playing with Beasley. These guys that you can watch and practice every day and learn how to run great routes. So Marquez Stevenson and man, I just forgot my Levi Wallace are my two risers.
And two falls, you ain't gotta give the reasoning. Just the two falls.
Two falls. I'm sorry. Two falls. Breida, we'll go with Breida just because I'm not really a big fan and he didn't really do much. And Tanner Gentry, man, he didn't create any separation yesterday, bro. None at all.
Yeah. Get him from Wyoming. Get him in here. He's a favorite for you. Okay.
Right. No separation.
One guy that we didn't mention, Matt Hack. I thought he punted well.
Okay.
I thought, he none of them were huge, but there was no return. Most of them were inside the 20, so I really like that. And then Andre Smith, I thought he played well. I mean, he missed a few tackles, but he was out there a long time, and he looked like somebody who could step in. And then guys kind of falling back. I was hoping a little bit more for Harrison Phillips, and let's see. I was thinking about Gentry because I was expecting something out of him.
Yeah, man.
But Breida, I was hoping to see hit something, stretch the field a bit, but we'll see.
Right. All right. Well, my two risers, I have to say Marquez Stevenson to be with you because the route running, he looked good as a receiver, and I've been banging the table for this team to carry 7 receivers into a week if they can. But he also looked very good on kick return as well. I thought that also helped his value. Devin Singletary, I think he's going to shut a lot of mouths up. I don't have to speak much on that. I've been a Devin Singletary true for us early in the show. My two falls, is I was expecting more from Elijah Griffin yesterday. I think that he had a chance to step up. I didn't think he looked good. And another false Star Latule. He fell on my yes. I'm still on the Star Latule hate list. Yes, I am. You haven't played a game in 2 years. We don't know where your conditioning is. He should have been out there playing at least a drive or two, in my opinion. I'm just saying it is what it is. No contact in 2 years. You can't. It's very hard to go without playing football for 2 years. And we're just going to go week 1 and expect him to pick up where he left off. He should have been playing. I'm sorry. But, guys, we got another week coming up. Who we got next week? Is it Green Bay or Bears? Who we got? We got somebody next week, right?
Chicago, I believe.
Chicago? Good. Good. I'm going to see Justin Fields from draft him number 4 overall on my Dynasty Fantasy League this week. So,
nice.
Don't hurt him, Buffalo. Other than that, guys, I mean, Bills won 16-15. It was a preseason game. It was a bunch of guys who will not be in the NFL in a couple of weeks, but they're still living their dream. So hats off to everybody out there participating. And hopefully you guys end up in good situations. But, we'll catch you guys next time. Don't forget, we're going to be giving stuff away for Buffalo autographs. And also, like I said, please do not forget, if you're going to be in Buffalo for September 10th, the Mafia Homecoming Party, 5 hours of open bar, 5 hours of free food. There'll be raffles. There'll be door prizes. There'll be 50-50 vendors. And last year, like I said, we had Stevie Johnson there. Marcus easily showed up. Ron Brooks. Jeremy Kelly from the Bills is out there helping us out. We have not announced a special guest host, but we will be this week, and you can't wait to see it. It's a Bills fan favorite. Also, all the Bills super fans should be in the house, so make sure it's a good time. Come out there. The ticket link is in the bio or description of the show, so make sure you're there. And guys, for my guys EJ, Travis, we're out of here, fellas. Peace.
Go Bills.